Well done, Pete.
Right, so I've come along to tell you something a wee bit strange about the TPPA. It's something just a bit odd. Could anyone guess what it might be?
I was here last night, still can't guess.
Look, I'll just tell you, all right? On the best view that anyone could take of TPPA, and I mean judges, politicians, the ordinary man or woman in the street, TPPA, under our law as it actually stands, under our constitution as it stands, TPPA must go to the people to decide in a binding referendum. And I know that's a big claim, and some of you might be sitting there thinking, what's this guy talking about? Just give me a few minutes, and I'm just going to trundle through this, hopefully in just a few minutes, and I'll have to leave you to take it away and let it sit with you, and hopefully you'll put all the pieces together, and then we'll go. Okay, so here we go. First of all, I'm just going to explain a bit about this petition to the Governor-General. We are asking the Governor-General, we're petitioning him, and what we're asking him to do is to command John Key, not for his government not to sign the TPPA and to put the TPPA to a binding referendum, or else the Governor-General will refuse to sign any enabling legislation that the government will need to implement TPPA. So, in theory, the Governor-General, if he's going to help us, has the government by the ghoulies. Okay. Now, there are two questions about this. And the first one is obviously, does the Governor-General have this power? And all the experts are going to tell you, professors, media, politicians, they're going to tell you the Governor-General has to sign bills which the House puts in front of him. But that's just a convention, and that's what they're going to say. They're going to say that's a convention, and that's why he has to do it. But it's just a convention. There is no way that anyone can force the Governor-General to sign anything if he refuses. Is there? And I made the joke last night, no one is to mention anything about red hot pokers or thumb screws or anything like that.
But for John Key you can.
Yeah, right. No, got ahead of myself. So that's actually the way our constitution stands. And it's been standing that way for a couple of 100 years. All bills that go through Parliament need the sovereign to sign them off, or they don't become law. And our constitution has stood this way because obviously politicians haven't wanted to open up that can of worms of trying to move to the next phase, republic or whatever. But that's the way our constitution stands. But the other question, which worries a lot of people, is would it be right for the Governor-General to refuse to sign the enabling legislation?
The other way would be to dismiss the Prime Minister.
Well, that's going a step beyond what's necessary here, because we just want the appropriate response. What we're having here is a denial of democracy, and we feel that the appropriate response is that this must go to the people now. Okay, but very good point, and I'm sure that a lot of people agree with that here.
Yeah.
Okay, now what I'm going to say to you is that this is something which the legal profession doesn't like to tell the public. We had a judge back in the 90s, 80s and 90s, and he was the president of our Court of Appeal. His name was Sir Robin Cook. He later went on to be made a life peer of the House of Lords in the UK. And he was also a member of the Privy Council at this time, the highest court in New Zealand's judiciary at that time. And while he was in those positions, Sir Robin made a speech, and this is what he said, and it is bang on point in relation to what we're facing today with the TPPA. So I'm just going to tell you what he said. Okay, I'm going to speed up. He said that in the modern world, the very basis of law is a free and democratic society. That's what he said the basis of law is. And so he said, judges should fight against any changes that undermine the democratic legislature or independent courts. Can anyone see where I'm going with this? And he said that judges should even resign if that undermining were significant. That's the level at which he put it. Rather than to just continue on in a phony democracy. And now I tie this in with the Governor-General. Because what Sir Robin was saying was there are limits on what Parliament can do. And that's the very nature of democracy. Parliament cannot give away our democracy. That is a decision only we, the people, can decide. Okay? So that's the essence of our petition. And I just want to finish off pointing out that our Governor-General, in his inauguration, he didn't just make an oath to the Queen. This is in 2011. He also made an oath to the people. But he did not make an oath to John Key, any other MPs or any other politicians of whatever sort, or lobby groups. And what we're trying to do in the petition is to hold the Governor-General to that oath. And what it needs is it needs numbers, in reality. And this petition to the Governor-General, we're doing it on the 30th of January, Saturday the 30th of January, outside the Governor-General's gates at 1 p.m. Okay, so I want you to fix that date in your mind. Saturday the 30th of January at 1 p.m, and I want you all to be there.
And bring your mates.
And bring your mates.
Here, here.
Right? And then I'll say one last thing. I'm sorry, Amanda, but one last thing. This petition to the Governor-General, this constitutional mechanism, it can continue to run all the way through this fight. And so when the government, if it manages to get through the signing, all of that, when it goes to put bills in front of the Governor-General, we want to be in front of the Governor-General's face with even more numbers when it comes to that time. So do you see what I mean? We want this to grow. Okay, thank you very much.
Good.